Videos like these are made possible by viewers like you, who support the channel through Patreon, channel memberships, and stream donations. And don't forget to check out the Bad Weapon Rehabilitation servers at www.badweaponrehab.tf. Check the links in the description for more information, and let's get into the video. Yes, I can beat Fallout New Vegas as the sniper from TF2. And you can also probably beat Fallout New Vegas as the sniper from TF2. Unless you have, like, no arms or legs, and are blind and deaf, or you don't have a computer, or you're dead. Now, the reason I'm so immediately dismissive of my own title is that sniper builds in Fallout New Vegas are really strong. As it turns out, being able to shoot people from far away without them knowing you're there in the first place is a very powerful ability that transcends game titles. So my issue with making this particular video in the series was not, will I be able to do this challenge? It's, will I be able to make this challenge even remotely interesting? Well, that's what I set out to do. So let's go over the rules and stipulations. For starters, let's talk weapons. I am allowed to use any rifle with a scope on it that isn't an automatic weapon. In fact, it needs to have a scope on it for me to be allowed to use it. That means no to the All-American, that's automatic. Yes to a varmint rifle with the night scope modification. No to a varmint rifle without the night scope. And sadly, no to this machine. That doesn't have a scope. If you have any questions, please consult the graph. It doesn't need to be bolt action either, so the trail carbine with the scope mod and the long carabine are also fair game. I'm also allowing myself to use the Gauss rifle and Dead Money's hollow rifle in place of the Machina. I feel like that's a good analog to the futuristic sniper rifle. The only exception to the no automatic weapons rule is the Bozar, which I'm only using because it's described as the ultimate refinement of the sniper's art, and because actually needing to buy this thing only serves to make the challenge harder. Besides, it's only about as strong as an SMG to begin with, which I'm also allowed to use any of, with the exception of the nail gun, which is apparently listed as a submachine gun. We'll get to you very soon. And without any backpacks or jars of pee in New Vegas, that covers secondary weapons, leaving just melee, which allows me to use any of the game's machetes. And I'll be getting plenty of uses out of all these weapons for my required GRA challenges. I have to kill 10 named Legion members with a hunting rifle, scoped of course. I have to kill 10 named NCR Rangers or commissioned officers with machetes. Guess I'm going yes man this run. I have to kill 5 assassins with the long carabine or the scoped trail carbine. Kill 10 of any of the strip families with SMGs or the Bozar, kill 15 super mutants with the Bozar, kill 20 raiders with a machete, and kill 10 abominations with a machete. Wow, that's nowhere near hard enough. So to add on to that, I'm also setting the game's difficulty to the highest possible setting, and also playing the game on hardcore mode, which adds hunger, thirst, and rest requirements, as well as giving all ammo weight, which will be the biggest change I'll notice. But that's not all. The sniper is 2 things, and that's an assassin and a big game hunter. So I'm going into this game with a hit list. I have to complete every single assassination that's tied to a quest in the game, and I need to kill every single mutated monstrosity that has its death tied to a quest, and every single one that has a unique name, including all the legendaries. And for good measure, I need to wipe out all the Deathclaws in Deathclaw Promontory, and the Courier's Mile. Okay, that puts me in a lot of danger. I think I can live with that. Let's start the run. I try my best to make someone that doesn't look exactly like all of my other characters, and head over to allocate my stats. Now listen, a lot of people try to tell you that snipers or archers are a dex build, but they are 100% a strength build. The fact that the sniper can hold the huntsman drawstring pretty much infinitely and all it does is make his aim worse, may not seem as immediately impressive as the engineer hauling around hundreds of pounds of machinery, but it puts him damn close. And if you've ever used a bow like this, you'll understand why. Not to mention, sniper rifles like this are big-ass guns that you're hauling around everywhere with a lot of recoil. It's a strength build. But I'm starting my strength off at 6 for the time being. I'll have a few opportunities to bring it higher later on down the line. Perception is an easy 10 for obvious reasons, and endurance and charisma are both on the low end. Endurance for sniper's low base health, but charisma is a little bit higher because while the sniper is a creepy weirdo who lives in a shack in the middle of nowhere and pees in jars, he is also canonically sexy, just like the people who main him, ladies. Intelligence is reasonably high at 7. I think your sniper's not an engineer or medic level genius, but he's not a scout or soldier level imbecile either. And agility and luck both go to 6. I probably could have taken a few points from luck to put into strength, but I wanted 6 luck for the better criticals perk, and no one has better criticals than sniper. Except for spy, but ignore that. Tag skills were easy. Guns is an obvious one, and survival just made sense with sniper being a big outdoorsman. And while it seems like a bit of a curveball, I threw in lockpick as well for what will soon become obvious reasons. And for my traits, I take skilled and trigger discipline. I know trigger discipline is a bit of a noob trap trait that doesn't really do much for you, but I felt it was the most fitting for the character. Beginning the actual run, I realized that maybe repair would have been a good skill to tag since I'm short on being able to fix the broken SMG in Doc Mitchell's house. Luckily, my other starter weapons aren't far off, as Sunny Smiles gives me a varmint rifle, and there's a machete I can use in a shack just outside of town. I do need to get a scope for the rifle before I can use it, but luckily I only have to wait 1 day for Chet to sell me one. Works for me. Now it's time for the first hit on our big game hunting list, and that's the tutorial geckos. Hey, they are a mutated animal that I have to kill for a quest, but trust me, these will get more exciting as the challenge goes on. Well, I wrap up the tutorial, go hunting for more geckos, which really eats into my ammo and gun durability, and level up to grab the hunter perk to make my crits against mutated animals even stronger. Once all that's done and I repair the SMG, it's already time to get started on our first assassination quest, as Joe Cobb wants me to kill Ringo. This does mean I also have to kill everyone in Good Springs, but hey, have a plan to kill everyone you meet and all that, and have a plan to kill everyone you peep. The Powder Gangers will have even more assassination jobs for me later, so this is all good for me. Surprisingly, Malcolm Holmes seems to have mistaken me for a raider after I gunned down an innocent man for no reason, and I reward his sense of perception. I pop by Sloan to get some skill books and fight some very intelligent scorpions, and finally make my way over to the prison where the big boy Powder Ganger wants me to take care of this guy, Chavez, for him. Sure, I'll shoot him. That's what guns are for and what friendship is all about. Before I head back, I hop on over to Prim since I want to get started on the quest here and get Myers instated as the sheriff before the NCR starts busting down the walls of this prison. The very hard difficulty does live up to its name though, since these guys pack way more of a punch than usual. I end up dying a few times in here. While I head back to the prison to grab Myers, Eddie has another hit job for me to take out a strange looking traitor on his turf. Before that though, I hop into the Divide real quick for some easy cash, and come out of the whole thing pretty stacked for the early game. That was just a pit stop though. I need to head to the outpost to pardon Myers and get some more quests. So I slaughter some ants on my way to get my quest to slaughter more ants. Had to get the practice in, you know. My first uniquely named animal is also in the area, the Night Stalker Den Mother. And hunting her down also gives me the opportunity to hack up some regular Night Stalkers with my machete for some easy points in that challenge. Once all that's done, Myers is so grateful that he casts a demonic spell on me to steal my soul, and I head on over to find that suspicious merchant so I can kill him too. Another hit down. Now at this point in the quest, you have the option to betray the Powder Gangers and side with the NCR, which does make my life easier for the time being, and it means I get to assassinate all the Powder Ganger leaders. Sign me up. Even if my NCR buddies are more equipped to the task than I am, that's still another assassination done. Good Springs has been avenged. From me, by me. I'm a bad person. As I make my way over to Novak, I'm really starting to feel just how wimpy my varmint rifle is as I try to take down some raiders. I know you're not supposed to stick with it for this long, and if I were playing the game normally, I'd probably be using a cowboy repeater or something right now, but with nothing else for long range, this is what I'm stuck with for sniping. For the time being at least, my SMG is pulling its weight, even if seeing this random Legion patrol in this particular area did give me some bad flashbacks. Well, I'm just about done with my varmint rifle being my best long-range option, so I've decided to grab its much cooler older brother in Brockflower Cave, the Rat Slayer. This is going to be harder than I thought, isn't it? And it is, despite the fact that I'm trying to get the Rat Slayer. These rats pack a serious punch and end up slaying me several times. Well, after far more attempts than I'd like to admit, I finally get the Rat Slayer without being dogpiled to death by rats, and I can get the hell out of this cave with my life. I'll break it in by slaughtering several generations of bighorners, grease it up a little, you know? Ending the lives of several raiders in the distance is enough to bump me up to level 10 and give me the finesse perk for even more crits. Arriving at Novak, I meet fellow snipey longshootman Boone and help him deal with his marital problems. That counts as an assassination as far as I'm concerned. I don't gotta be the one pulling the trigger. Exploring up ahead, I managed to find a hunting rifle scope, which will be perfect for when I get one of those, and I also find a 22 silenced SMG. That's just another kind of bullet I can kill people with, so sounds good to me. I also head over to Boulder City while I'm in the area. I definitely want to help the cons out so I can get access to their armory, especially if I'm going to be pissing off both the NCR and the Legion in this run. I know that one of the fiends, Violet, has a hunting rifle, and the fastest way to get to her and mark the con armory on my map is by heading north out of Goodsprings past the Cazadors. Not a big deal, I've got plenty of SMG bullets, but Victor doesn't seem to hold up against the Cazadors very well. I can't give him too much shit though, since not 5 minutes later, I get jump scared to death by one when I thought I had killed them all in this area. Yet another bug jump scare in this series. After wiping out the Raiders in Bonnie Springs and picking up a new 10mm SMG, I make my way over to Violet so we can have our sniper duel. In this duel, I will be playing the part of the Machina sniper as I will be making no attempts to hit her head. The important thing is that now I have a hunting rifle, which gives me much needed peace of mind. I figure while I'm in the area, I may as well take out the other two fiend leaders. I haven't been asked to assassinate them yet, but the less time they spend in this world the better. And the only things preventing proactive assassinations are laws, and this is the apocalypse. Those don't exist anymore. I'm already feeling the difference that the hunting rifle makes. I'm clearing through these fiends like they're nothing. I know it's a hunting rifle and all, but I didn't realize it was so good for hunting people. I make sure to head on over to Camp McCarran so I can give this guy the heads up on all the people I decapitated. Just a little bit of subtle humor for you smart folk out there. And after all that murdering, I feel like I've earned a little treat for myself, so I head on over to the sniper's nest and put that lockpick skill to good use. Come on, you had to know I was going to use this thing. Even if it isn't strictly speaking the best sniper rifle in New Vegas, you can't deny it's the best looking. And I decided the first quarry that my new rifle will take down is the giant fire ant queen in the ant mound just outside of Vegas. And since I haven't killed enough bugs yet, I head on back towards the outpost towards this little burrow in the ground that I didn't even know existed until I did this challenge, and wouldn't you know it, there's a rad scorpion queen down here. I'm more happy to have another kill to my name than I am annoyed by the fact that this game seems to think that scorpions are eusocial animals. Whatever, maybe it's the radiation. For a while, I'm mostly just exploring and fighting what I come across, mainly for the experience, as I need to pass a speech check for my next weapon. And I managed to hit just the right level as I wipe out all the robots by the crashed vertibird. Now I can talk these two knuckleheads out of trying to shoot up the casinos with only 10 bullets to their name and a stolen, but very effective submachine gun. Don't worry, I'll take care of that casino job for you soon. With that out of the way, I can indignantly buy myself a Bozar for entirely too many caps. And with my new Bozar in hand, I talked to Dusty McBride and Novak about him wanting me to take care of whatever it is that's killing his Brahmin. That sounds like an assassination to me. Say goodnight, Nightkin. One mutie down. I also head off to the Repcon test site to wipe out all the Nightkin in the basement with the Bozar. The Bright followers do want me to get rid of the demons, so I guess this also counts as a hit job. I just wish it paid better. Well, lucky for me, I know exactly where to go to get a good payday. Let's head to Zion. For the final time in this series, thank goodness. That means we don't have to talk about it anymore. Well, the main reason we're here is not just to get a 45 SMG, which will be a huge help going forward, it's also to hunt down the giant enemy Ghost Bear. Well, before I can do any of that, the white legs are already giving me trouble right out of the gate. Low endurance plus very hard difficulty almost feels like a semi-realistic portrayal of what getting shot is like. Luckily, it's also realistic when I shoot the wildlife. And one bloatfly is enough to get me up to level 16 so I can get even better criticals. Now my guns are especially realistic. Unfortunately, body damage is also realistic. Almost all of my limbs are crippled, and in hardcore mode, you can only heal crippled limbs with doctor's bags or by seeing a doctor, both of which are in short supply here in Zion. Anyway, I do a bit of fetch questing and then talk to a man about a bear. My new SMG does a great job at cutting down all the smaller bears, and my 10mm is more than the biggest bear can bear. Well, that's just about all we came here for, except I guess we have another assassination mission here. Says we gotta kill, all of the white legs. Josh, this is more of a genocide than an assassination, isn't it?
Yes.
Works for me. Goodbye, General Gobbledygook. And in my quest of genocide, upon my return to the Mohave, I see that I finally cured racism. I shake down some people for cash while I'm in Freeside, and someone takes issue with that, so time to head to the strip and kill him. That sounds a lot less justified when I say it like that. Speaking of difficult to justify, we have a bit of a conflict of interest here at the moment. See, right now the Van Graffs want me to bring in Cass to assassinate her, but if I do Cass's quest, she wants me to assassinate the Van Graffs and Alice McLafferty at the Crimson Caravan. I can't do both, but we'll come back to this in due time. The Colonel at Camp McCarran also wants me to take out Motor Runner, the big cheese of the fiends holed up in Vault 3. Something we'll also have to keep in mind for later. And speaking of McCarran, Hildern is going to want me to go to the plant vault, and I may as well multitask and start Red Lucy's quest since it'll lead me to killing the legendary Night Stalker and the 2 Alpha Deathclaws in the Quarry. Before any of that, I decide to blow away another Nightkin for my challenge, and blow away some mercenaries since one of them has a unique Gauss rifle that I can use. Plus, the sight of me blowing away a bunch of mercenaries with a desert camo sniper rifle is one I'm quite familiar with at this point. Unfortunately, the Gauss rifle broke during the shootout, so I have to find someone who can repair it. Weapon repair kits won't do anything for it in this state. Anyway, I head inside the plant vault and hack up a few hideous monstrosities with my machete for that challenge, which after a few floors, actually finishes that challenge off already. Then I light up some giant mantids with Vance's SMG, grab some eggs, and light up the entire vault with fire so I can be on my way. I end up following Red Lucy's quest pretty closely without too many detours from this point on. I go kill the giant scorpions to get their eggs. I find out that the Rat Slayer is just as effective as the Gecko Slayer as I grab their eggs. I take out a completely unrelated quarry full of Deathclaws as practice for the real thing, and massacre all the Night Stalkers, and the Bloodborne is actually possible to emulate on PC now cave, including the legendary Night Stalker. So that's our first legendary down. On the subject of legendaries, I do take a quick detour on my way to get Cazador eggs in order to kill the legendary Cazador in Silver Peak Mine since it's on the way over anyway. I test out this new 12.7mm SMG I found at the Cazadors, and it's not bad, but I think I prefer my other options. Having a 21 round magazine just feels wrong. And sure, each individual bullet is stronger, but I'm not exactly nickel and diming myself on the strength of each individual bullet when I'm firing an SMG. Especially when I have my 45, which does the job on the legendary Cazador just fine with a 50 round mag. I then decide I haven't got my money's worth out of the Bozar yet, so I try to follow my own video's advice on this thing and use it to fight some of the Cazadors coming up. It's not bad, but the 30 round magazine really is this weapon's downfall. Any big groups and you just get swarmed. It's hard to use short controlled bursts when your entire magazine is basically a short controlled burst. The 45 does the job a lot better and gets me my eggs. And now all that's left are the Deathclaws. The first few Deathclaws are no trouble at all, but they do chew through my armor-piercing rounds, which will make the rest of this a lot harder, as is evidenced by the fact that one of the bastards runs up on me and almost one-shots me. Joshua Graham is clearly built different because it definitely wasn't his armor that saved him. My success is almost entirely determined by how many crits I get. This is what I get for doing this before I got an anti-material rifle, but I don't have the strength stat to use it properly anyway. Yet. Lucky for me, the quarry is extremely open, which means I get a lot of opportunities to gun down Deathclaws from a distance before they get a chance to become a threat. But this is still a very difficult operation, mainly because of the Mother Deathclaw, who absolutely destroys me because of how fast she is. Even while crippled, it's only a matter of time before she catches up to me. Same goes for the Alpha Male. I have to use one of my turbos just to not get overwhelmed by him and finally bring him down. And then it's second verse same as the first for the Mother Deathclaw once I'm finally able to get her leg crippled at a safe distance. I cut things down a lot for the sake of brevity, but trust me when I say this was not the smoothest Quarry Junction experience. But it was all worth it in the end for those eggs and that segs. And also for taking 2 of my targets off my hit list. So anyway, after hitting Red Lucy's list, I decided to replace my 10mm SMG with its unique variant Sleepy Time, and head on over to empty my cranium at the Big Empty. I'm coming to this DLC for a couple of reasons. For one, Christine's silenced rifle is arguably the best sniper rifle in the game. For another thing, the spine enhancement you get just for playing the DLC permanently boosts your strength by 2, enabling me to use the anti-material rifle and also carry all this goddamn ammo around with me. And finally, I have a lot of shit to kill in this crater. No assassinations, but definitely plenty of monstrosities. I do of course need to sit through the longest intro sequence ever before I get into any of that fun stuff, but at least it rewards me with experience. The first monstrosity on my list is the unique Cazador, Specimen 73. A big bastard with a lot of health. My 22 SMG may not be the highest damaging, but its pockets run the deepest in terms of magazine size, and Cazadors as a whole are very vulnerable to long bursts of automatic fire, especially when you hit their wings. So the longer the burst, the better. Shadis the Night Stalker is next on my list in a facility not too far away, and the Tommy gun just rips through it, doesn't even put up a fight. Same goes for Patient Zero and the giant plant thing, the Dino Nausea Mucus Culpa. I don't know if plants should count as big game I have to hunt, but I'm counting them in either case. It's not like it made my job all that much harder anyway. And I'm sure it'll disappoint you and myself when I say that the legendary bloatfly went much the same way. I was so far out of its range that it couldn't even process my existence and just ate all my bullets until it died. That's just how the legendary bloatfly goes sometimes. Either it gets you, or you get it. Bahawaba. At this point, the only prey I have left to hunt here is the giant dog Gabe, who is locked behind story progression. But I still clean up around the rest of the big empty. I got the bullets to spare. But there's only so much mountain to empty out of enemies, and eventually I have to do all the story stuff with the sneaky suit and fighting through a bunch of cyborg dogs before I eventually come across the biggest cyborg dog of them all and give it the old Yeller treatment. Wait, my audience was all born in like 2010 or some shit. Ruby Ridge? No, my dog shooting references are dated. Look, the point is I unalive the dog for real, and you won't believe what happens next, so make sure to tune into part 2 of this TikTok series. I'm probably making this DLC sound like it's going a lot smoother than it really is, but I am struggling in places, especially against these damn scorpions since their armor is ridiculous. I don't think I found something in any of my playthroughs that's really effective against them. Luckily, I do know what is effective against the biggest, spookiest scorpion of them all, and that is distracting it with other, smaller, dumber robots to shoot at instead of me. Seriously, it's like the easiest thing to access and it basically wins the fight for you. And just like that, Morbius is my friend, my brain is in my head, and the brain boys are dead. I'm a hero. Time to expand my heroic efforts, since the leader of the Powder Gangers I totally didn't betray earlier is holed up in Vault 19, and wants me to go kill some fire geckos that are blocking off the way to the sulfur mines. I will side with this man so that I may shoot animals to death. I'm such a good person. Once I take care of that, he wants me to go talk to the Great Khan so he and his buddies can become their hanger-on groupies. They do still have to go through the college hazing ritual, but they're cool with that. While I'm talking with the Khans, I head on over to their drug dealer so I can basically milk the fiends for all they're worth before blowing a hole in Motor Runner's skull like I promised the Colonel and Camp McCarran I'd do before. See, I told you we'd get around to it. Once I'm in the vault, I start making some use out of Christine's sniper rifle. As if sniper builds weren't busted enough in this game already, silencers are also totally busted and as good as actually silent. Doesn't quite work that way in real life, but what can you do? I don't play games for realism. Something tells me it isn't great business to make a deal with a guy and then immediately blow his brains out, but that's why I'm an assassin, not a salesman. Well, Diane seems happy with my results regardless, so I'll call this mission accomplished. After that, it's time for some multitasking. Tabitha needs to be taken care of on Black Mountain, and I need to rack up super mutant kills on my Bozar. I did find a scope for my trail carbine, so I used that to whittle the mutants down, and then switch to the Bozar to finish them off. I don't have to worry about the smaller magazine capacity this way, and I get to save up on 5.56 bullets. Some of the tougher mutants with heavier arms give me a bit of trouble and have me running for my life, but I eventually managed to get them nice and tenderized and finish them off as well as this challenge. In the area, there's also a unique evolved centaur in a big crater named Mo, and he goes down really easily. To be honest, I don't know why he's a unique enemy, but that means he's on the list, so I had to mention it. Anyway, with the Super Mutant Challenge out of the way, now it doesn't matter what weapon I use to slaughter them with, and I'm able to rescue Raoul and defeat Tabitha for another hit off our list. Up next, Private Dingus over here thinks he's man enough to go off and fight the Lake Lurk King all by himself, but I'm quick to take the kill that's rightfully mine. It was really easy. I reward myself by making a pit stop at Cottonwood Cove and shooting Canyon Runner from very far away so I can take his fancy machete to replace my own. I chose him because he's not important to any quests and won't be especially missed, which is great because I will actually be siding with the Legion for most of this run due to the presidential assassination-shaped elephant in the room. But we'll get there when we get there. The new machete does make completing my challenge of taking out raiders with it a lot easier, but so do their, brain problems. Are they stupid? Well, either I'm stupid or these rocks are a lot smarter than me because they make the process of dealing with the legendary fire gecko a lot harder than it has any right to be. Things are still a bit dicey on my next attempt, but at least I'm able to walk away with the kill under my belt. Heading onto the strip is when we have a lot of work to do. I talked to this guy, Walter Phoebus, who wants me to take care of Heck Gunderson inside of the Ultralux, and that's a whole can of worms in and of itself. But I've got my sights set on another casino first. And maybe it's not the most subtle means of assassination, but god damn it, I didn't spend all that money on this Bozar for nothing. I'm getting my money's worth out of this thing, and not only completing yet another challenge, but also finishing off the assassination that started this whole adventure. Benny talks an awful lot of shit for someone made out of material. Vulpes sees all this and is impressed with my efforts, and so he invites me to his secret furry club, which will be a decision he'll have mixed feelings on in the future, I'm sure. I bring the chip to House and sit through his demo because no one's told me that I need to kill House yet, which will change very soon. as I take up Volpez on his invitation and head straight to the cove to talk to the big baldy boy himself. He wants me to destroy the Securitron army, but I have my own agenda, and activate it anyway since that doesn't matter to Caesar's opinion of me. Now though is when things get a little hairy, but I only have myself to blame for this. See, this NCR guy, who I'm sure has no regrets about hiring me, wants me to kill all of the hostages in Nelson who have been crucified. You could argue this is euthanasia, but for one thing they've got enough kids over there as it is, and for another thing, I am being told to shoot someone from far away with a gun as a job, so I consider that an assassination. Inside Nelson, Dead Sea wants me to wipe out everyone in Camp Forlorn Hope, and this is a triple boon for me. For one thing, that's another assassination out of the way. For another, I get to rack up NCR kills with my new machete, and for a third thing, it allows me to kill Corporal Sterling and get my hands on my next gun, La Long Carabine, which even this late into the game is still pretty powerful. The problem is the order I decide to do this in. I take Dead Sea's quest, and then kill the NCR hostages, which pisses off all the Legion and Nelson, then wipe out Forlorn Hope, and when I try to return to Dead Sea for my reward, I get rushed down with a machete in my face for my troubles. If I had done this in a different order and killed the hostages last, then I wouldn't have needed to piss off Dead Sea directly, and my last hard save was way too long ago for me to go back and reload it. So, mission sort of accomplished. Everyone that everyone asked me to kill is dead, so I'll take what I can get. There is also another named Legion guy I can kill a short walk away from here for that challenge, so this wasn't a total loss. Even though I will be helping out the Legion for a lot of this run, I have no loyalty to them. Ever the enlightened centrist, I make sure that I'm not favoring one side too much, and head over to Camp McCarran to rack up some NCR kills for that challenge as well. The one thing that's annoying about this challenge is that it feels a bit inconsistent with which named NCR soldiers it actually bothers counting towards the goal. I've killed a lot of named people and auto-failed a lot of quests at this point, a lot of them for basically nothing. At the very least, I know what weapon to use against Curtis. Anyway, speaking of killing NCR affiliates, it's time for Cass to get her revenge. I'm honestly playing a bit more like a spy now than a sniper, sneaking around and stabbing people in the back. Except I have a gun. I wish Spy had one of those. McLafferty was easy enough, but the Van Graffs are where things might get tricky. Companions will permanently die on hardcore mode, so I'm not the only one in danger here. Gloria's easy enough to take out on her own, but the rest of her goons, not so much. I do only need to kill Gloria for the quest, but where's the fun in that? In the end, the reverse order works out best. Goons first, then Gloria. The silent sniper rifle is so busted, you'll only see it get more crazy from here. But that's Cass's revenge taken care of. That's not the only piece of business I have to take care of while I'm in the area, as Caesar wants me to take care of Mr. House. And as is so often the case, I have chosen to do this after I've upgraded all of his Securitrons. Even trying to take the more direct route and making a beeline for the antechamber doesn't really help things. The sniper build does make a lot of things easier, but not everything. But third time's the charm, and after failing to understand his hitbox a few times, the next assassination is taken care of. Next, Caesar wants me to deal with the boomers, and while I could kill all of them, that's just listed as optional. And honestly, I'm not sure how much I trust my chances against their explosives with how squishy I am. Besides, they do have a quest to complete for my list. So I operate on their wounded while my own limbs are crippled and they refuse to heal me because I'm just a swell fucking guy like that. I listen to the child talk about the garbage, I fix their solar panels, and finally take care of their ant problem. Ants aren't exactly the most riveting hunting targets, especially after all the shit we've seen, but maybe it's nice to have a bit of a breather. A rebreather, because as always, it's time to go to the bottom of the lake and raise the plane, and bing bang boom, the bing bang boomers love me. Caesar isn't too happy about the whole wiping out Nelson thing, but fortunately his brain tisms activate and make him forget all about that, so all's well that ends well. In spite of me killing a lot of their people, the Legion are cool enough with me to give me access to their safe house, and more importantly, the Lucky Shades, which are identical to any other pair of sunglasses, but they passively increase your luck by 1. More crit chance for me, I'll take it. Anyway, I'm far enough along in the Legion quest line that if I continue to help them out, I won't be able to help out the NCR anymore. Which is bad because they also have an assassination mission for me. They want me to take care of Pacer, a member of the Kings who's been causing them some trouble. Now, the non-violent ways of doing this are to either complete the King's quest line or to frame the Van Graffs for Pacer's murder. But that's gonna be a bit of a problem now. Besides, I have a way better idea. See? Easy. Crocker's not a fan of my approach, but that doesn't really matter since my dealings with the NCR from here on out are done. This is especially good since now I'm hacking up anyone I can fight with my machete to actually finish off this challenge once and for all. All I need now are the Legionaries and the Assassins. We're heading off to go see the White Gloves next, and this one's a double header. Not only does Caesar want an alliance with them, but Walter Phoebus wants me to kill Heck Gunderson, and the White Gloves want me to kill whoever, really. They're just hungry. So I decide to kill 2 Gundersons with a lot of bullets, then take Ted's blood into Heck's room and smear it all over the place to frame him for Ted's murder. Apparently that's good enough as far as the strip security is concerned, and as soon as Heck resists arrest, he gets sent straight to Heck. Much to the surprise of, apparently, no one. I'm not surprised this sort of thing happens a lot. With that, we wrap up 2 more assassinations and secure an alliance with the Legion and the White Gloves. The Brotherhood is next on the chopping block, and this one might be pretty tough considering the cramped corridors of the bunker. My SMGs are good for close quarters combat, but not the best against armored enemies. Well, as it turns out, the Brotherhood are in fact made out of material, and it's a hell of a close call with me being driven down to basically nothing in terms of health, but I barely managed to pull through and clear out the first room. And I think I was wrong about the cramped conditions of the bunker. They turned parts of this into a corridor shooter. Although when a paladin I missed rushes me down, there's not a whole lot I can do about it before he sends me back to where I started. But eventually, after enough bottlenecking, I'm able to clear out the first floor, and as usual, it's smooth sailing from here with very few paladins left. So I kill everyone and blow up the bunker, leaving another job well done. Again, more on the genocide side of things rather than assassination, but I'm not picky at this point. Caesar's brain tumor is next, and I'm so overleveled at this point that I'm able to bullshit my way through the surgery with just the right pair of smart people glasses. It's not in my best interest to kill him during the surgery. He's more useful to me with lead in his head than cancer. Speaking of someone more useful to me with lead in their head, let's go take care of the president. This is weirdly a lot harder than I thought it would be, since it seems like people just keep seeing through my disguise. I didn't even draw my weapon or anything, they just vibe checked me to death. Maybe I'm really not like a spy after all. It turned out the solution to all my problems was crouching. Just crouch and they can't see you. Okay, whatever you say, New Vegas. So I grab my anti-material rifle, get the president's head in my crosshairs, and quick question, have you seen the movie Scanners? If not, here's a spoiler. Caesar is impressed with my efforts, and he's ready to go to the dam for the final battle. Hey, what's all that time code still doing at the bottom of the video? See, only now that I've done all their dirty work, cured Caesar's brain tumor, wiped out multiple factions in their name, and endorsed the act of cannibalism, now is when I'll pull the rug out from under them and begin my slaughter of every named legionary I can find. Things do get pretty dicey once I actually get to the fort. I'm basically surrounded on all sides with a slow-firing weapon that's long been outclassed by my other sniper rifles, but shoving enough food in my face is the cure to all life's problems. That's one lesson I took away from the heavy run. Clearing out the interior of the fort is never easy, but I managed to pick them off one by one, slowly making my way towards my goal, until finally reaching the big bald boy's tent. Once I bottleneck all the guards, they're an absolute cakewalk. Then I take down Volpes, and hey Caesar, how's that brain tumor of yours feeling? That's great, buddy. Weirdly enough, now that I've slaughtered the highest ranking members of their organization like animals, I have a bunch of Legion assassins after me. It's the craziest thing. Oh well, nothing I can't handle. Actually, yes, it is something I can't handle. The weapons I need to use for this challenge are by no means bad, but Legion assassins, especially this late in the game, usually need something with a bit more stopping power. But once again, the tried and true method of shoving food down my cake hole is the way to go. And just for good measure, on the second band of assassins I fight, the local fire ants are sure to help out. Maybe ever since I killed the fire ant queen, I've become their new master. I look forward to swarming Hoover Dam with a horde of giant ants like my favorite movie of all time, Ant-Man Quantumania. With that out of the way, all of our GRA challenges are done and dusted, and we can move on to our last few assassination and hunting targets, with one of those being all the Death Claws in Deathclaw Promontory. Well, my initial approach definitely could have gone better. I didn't exactly bring my gun with the highest stopping power, but luckily Deathclaws are much like vampires and can't cross running water, giving me a chance to get some distance. Wait, no, definitely not vampires. Alright, that changes things. This is enough of a distraction that a whole bunch of them are able to get the drop on me very suddenly and instantly kill me. Second time's a charm, and I continue with this sort of bottlenecking strategy. I do this a lot. Funneling them all out towards the entrance, and then completely frying their AI so they have no idea what they're doing as soon as I get in the water. and this works out for clearing out most of the Deathclaws by the entrance. All the other ones get turned into chunks of goo with a few explosive anti-material rifle rounds, and that's about it. The Deathclaw promontory is totally cleared out. I'd never actually done this before, so I thought it would be a lot harder, this unmarked secret area filled with Deathclaws, but it really wasn't that bad. I only died a couple of times. With all that out of the way, it's time to head back to the Divide and take it on properly this time. My main target isn't Ulysses, it's the unique Deathclaw Rar and the Tunneler Queen, but I'll take him out while I'm at it. He is made out of material after all. But first we have to make our way through the Divide, and after going through this early segment so many times in the early game at this point, this really isn't too bad at all. I've got a solid arsenal of good guns that deal damage at any range, not to mention a companion drawing fire and racking up damage himself. This really isn't too hard so far. Even my first interaction with the Tunnelers goes very smoothly. Vance's 9mm just rips through them and they don't even have the chance to land a hit on me. This gun rules. Hopefully now you can see why I had to handicap myself just as much as I did for this run to keep it interesting. This isn't because I'm so good at the game that it just can't handle my wicked nasty skills. The scripted Deathclaw that attacks the camper is my first real sign of resistance, and even then that's because I weighed myself down with all the free ammo that the camper gives me in the first place. Once I have my legs back to gain some distance, it's not so bad. The bridge that the rest of the Deathclaws are on is just a giant sight line. It's like Turbine out here, no issues at all. The real bastards are these satchel charges. They're hard to spot in the rubble and have a hair trigger that instantly kills you if you get sloppy. Well, I launched the nuke, and then it's time for the part I've been dreading. The Courier's Mile. This place is an absolute nightmare of constant radiation and tough as nails irradiated Deathclaws. The first one I shoot at makes a beeline straight for me and instantly kills me. It's horrifying. The worst part is that this place scales with your level, and with everything I've done in the game, I'm almost maxed out. And yeah, sure, I've got good gear at this point, but I'm far from invincible. I unsurprisingly get my ass kicked, and a lot. The foothold I do manage to grasp onto is nothing short of miraculous. I'm so lucky Eddie is there to draw aggro and can't die. But every Deathclaw I manage to kill is an accomplishment. Things have officially stopped going smoothly for me. If it were just the Deathclaws, that'd be one thing, but of course I have to deal with some absolutely jacked up marked men. I spent almost half an hour in this place, dying over and over again, before I'm finally able to blow all these sons of bitches away with my Tommy gun, clear this place out, and level up for good measure. Man, that was tiring. The elevator to hell is a lot easier than the Courier's Mile, but I do still struggle with it. Lack of distance makes dealing with tunnelers a lot harder. But from there on out, it gets a lot easier. Mostly just big sightlines that are a playground for any sniper. Though once I reach the next den full of tunnelers, things get hairy again, but that's on me. I'm trying to burn through all this armor-piercing 50 cal ammo since it weighs a lot, and Eddie's holding on to an even bigger stash. I know Ulysses is going to take him away soon, and that's going to leave me with all the leftover ammo to carry around. Anyway, I soon find what I'm really looking for in here. The Tunneler Queen. I managed to find a little perch where none of the tunnelers can reach me, and several pot shots later, the Queen is dead. Boy, the Queen and the President in one video, no one's gonna be happy about this one. Soon after that, Ulysses takes Eddie from me, and that's when things get really dicey, because now I have to take on these Deathclaws alone without anyone to draw aggro. Luckily, I managed to cripple one of them, and then the other one just kinda gets stuck in level geometry. Oh, New Vegas. Of course, they're not the Deathclaws I'm worried about. Rar's the real son of a bitch here, and even after crippling his leg, I don't have enough time to take him out before he one-shots me. Until I try almost the exact same thing next time, and now it works. But let me tell you, it's a photo finish. I must have been a couple of frames away from this attack hitting me. But now with all that done, our business in the Divide is nearly finished, so we get Eddie back and prepare to fight Ulysses. Well, that was really easy. But even if Ulysses is a joke, the marked men he summons are not. I struggle with them quite a bit, and they continually kick my ass. It takes a few attempts, but I managed to get a foothold, take out the final marked man, and you gotta know I launched the nukes over everyone. I don't think this is what the sniper meant when he said to have a plan to kill everyone you meet, but it gets the job done. With that taken care of, I decide I'll head to the Long 15, and Colonel Royas is really not that big of a deal. It's mostly getting past his irradiated healing that's the pain in the ass. The same cannot be said of dry wells. The irradiated legionaries are such bastards. Biggest Dickus over here is just eating my bullets like they're candy until he finally chokes on one. And with his death, that's everything involving Lonesome Road done. Now that I've exhausted all my other options by killing and nuking them all, I talk to Yes Man for the first time in the playthrough and get him installed and boot up the substation. But even though we could end the game here, we've got a few more things to deal with first. And one of those is finally taking care of the legendary Deathclaw. I've been seriously dreading this, even more so than the Courier's Mile, because this is a tight, cramped cave full of Deathclaws, and unlike the last times I've dealt with it, I don't have Stay Back or the ability to use any shotgun really. I have to pray that my damage output alone is going to be good enough, but instead, I get another saving grace that, in all honesty, I probably should have expected. Pure New Vegas jank. See, I'm so overleveled at this point that I've managed to completely max out my sneak skill, and combine that with a totally silent weapon, and this means that as long as I'm quick and careful, these Deathclaws can be looking right at me and have no idea I even exist. For all the difference it makes, I may as well be completely invisible. I'm able to exploit the Deathclaw's ineptitude for most of the cave, picking them off while none of them are any the wiser. But then I run into my first hurdle. Another mother Deathclaw. To be honest, I'm still not entirely sure how the mechanics of this whole thing work. I know it has nothing to do with proximity, so I think it either has to do with my movement, or time taken for the enemy to notice me, or maybe both. The point is, the mother Deathclaw has a good chunk of health, so the time to kill really matters here. I can't stand around for too long or she'll notice me and kill me. Luckily, I'm able to cripple one of her legs and get some distance before finally finishing her off. And now it's down to my final hunting target, the legendary Deathclaw. This one is also a pain in the ass because it's surrounded by regular Deathclaws, who I can deal with just fine, but in doing so, I attract the legendary's attention, and now the clock is ticking. So instead, I kite the smaller Deathclaws out of the cavern first, and take them out one at a time, leaving only the legendary left. And when it's down to just me and him, I pump a few rifle bullets into his head, and finish off what's left with my silenced SMG, since that still won't draw any attention to me, finishing my final hunt of this run. As for my final assassination, it's nothing too special. Kachino and Gamora wants me to take out the bosses because they're up to something hinky, so I shoot them once they're alone together. I saved this one for the end because I honestly kind of forgot about it. But you know, for as much as we've gotten done, it really feels like there's something missing, doesn't it? And so as I entered the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker, I thought to myself, should I? Yeah, I really should. Finally, a DLC I haven't talked to death already, even if everyone else has. My biggest regret while doing this series has got to be not doing Dead Money as the spy. I mean, the DLC has a revolver and a knife you can use, it's all about a big heist and sneaking around, it's perfect. But it also has the hollow rifle for sniper, and I think that's perfect for this challenge because the hollow rifle is an awesome weapon, but the issue in Dead Money is ammo management. Dead Money plays out like a survival horror game in that you have to manage your resources very carefully, and sometimes just flat out avoid combat. Hell, a lot of times you'll have to do finishing moves on enemies, just like James Sunderland expertly crushing the windpipes of his enemies since he's got so much experience in that regard. The biggest difference between this and a traditional survival horror game is that I can just hit F5 and save whenever I want instead of waiting on finding a save point. So anyway, Elijah kidnaps us with gas and puts a bomb collar on us that'll go off if anyone on our squad dies, or if we get too close to what is probably Dead Money's most annoying mechanic, the funny radios. Stay too close to certain radios or speakers for too long, your collar starts beeping, and quick question, have you ever seen the movie Scanners? If not, here's another spoiler. Some of these can be extremely annoying to find if you don't know where you're looking for them, and this is the DLC I've played through the least out of all of them. This is only my third time through it ever. The enemies here are tough, and more importantly, the hollow rifle you start off with is in low condition and only has a small pool of bulk microfusion cells, so every shot needs to count, and this can be especially nail-biting when it comes to finishing enemies off, something you only don't have to do if you get lucky and blow off their body parts while finishing combat. It's always worth it to finish the enemies off, but the tension you feel when using one of your precious ammo resources is real, especially when things like crafting benches and loot caches are so infrequent, and the latter doesn't guarantee you'll find the ammo you need. This is especially relevant for me because the holo rifle is the only weapon in the entire DLC that I'm actually allowed to use. So this video also doubles as can I beat Fallout New Vegas Dead Money with only the holo rifle on the hardest difficulty and in hardcore mode. I hope you can understand why this video took so long to come out. As I go to get the first of my heist crew, Dog/God, the ammo problem and the radio problem are now working in tandem to make sure I won't have any hair left on my head by the time I'm 30. I need to spend ammo to destroy these things or else I'll just die. But it's not like I can use the police pistol with its more disposable ammo. Resource management is not my specialty, but I do have enough ammo to bust all the radios and recruit Dog God. Having a companion is a massive boon, since now I have someone else who can do all the heavy lifting in combat for me, while I get to conserve ammo as much as I can. But I still have to be careful because my companions' lives are tied to my own. If they die, I die. Speaking of companions, Dean Domino is next, and I have to be careful with how I talk to him. I want to keep my companions alive, if for no other reason than I'd really rather not waste the ammo if I can help it. And Dean here likes to be the smartest guy in the room. So all these speech checks that I could be passing right now are traps that will eventually have him trying to kill me. I almost wish the game did stuff like this more often, where passing speech checks makes characters hostile towards you instead of just being a sort of mindless instant win button how it is now, but I can see that being a bit mean, which is probably why Dean here is the only example of that. Speaking of Dean, he gets a little too close for comfort as we finally recruit the last member of our heist crew, Christine. And I owe this lady a lot for just how much I've been abusing her busted ass sniper rifle. But getting the band together is just the start. Now we need everyone to get into position to crack open the casino itself. The Dog God needs to flip some switches, and I burned through a lot of my ammo reserves getting Dean where he needs to go. Apparently he needs to hold two frayed wires together to act as a conduit between them to turn on speakers that'll help start the gala event but attract shitloads of ghost people. Ordinarily I think Dean's kind of a whiny diva, but if I were him in this situation I'd be complaining too. His job is way worse than mine. So I throw him a bone and turn on some hologram security guards that'll keep him safe once everything goes off. Christine's part involves her getting into a pretty claustrophobic space, which she's very much so not cool with. But luckily, Christine is a lot like men. She's easy, just be nice to her. Also, she likes pussy. Much like the hunchbacked abomination that I am, I'm sent to the bell tower to really kick this thing off. And once that happens, I run like hell and get my ass out of there. The ghost people are everywhere, and I'm lucky I have the ammo I do. However, once I reach the casino, someone clearly puked into the toilet, filling the room with gas. Once the smelly smells have left the room, we need to go find Dog God as he's gone nutso boingo and started filling the kitchen with gas. The sniper uses his skills in psychotherapy that he learned from his years of shooting people in the head to convince Dog God to stop this doggone nonsense and to get the hell out of there. Dean is up next, and I need to scoot around backstage and get rid of a bunch of speakers and radios while dodging holograms, and it works out really well for me. I eventually reach him, and thanks to my utter failure to pass any speech checks with him, we're cool, and now I can... Oh, speakers. Christine is at the end of this maze that is the casino's ruined hotel rooms, and as much as I like the story of Dead Money, I want to know who it was that decided the Vera hologram who repeats all of her dialogue over and over again should go inside of a maze. I just want to talk to them. Once I reach Christine, she can talk now and says that she wants Elijah dead. Yeah, me too. I guess that counts as an assassination. So I managed to find the passcode into the vault, and she sends me down there to deal with Elijah, and it works out really well for me. If you don't know exactly where all the speakers are, this part is the biggest pain in the ass in the entire DLC. And even if you do know where they are, well, man, right as I reach the terminal. Anyway, after several more attempts, I finally reach the vault itself and make a bit of room in my inventory for a couple of gold bars. For luck. Elijah's like, hey, I'm just gonna wait for you to die down there and then get the treasure. And I'm like, no you, and trap him in the vault while I make my daring escape. Now you might think I left him there for the dramatic irony and thematic implications of leaving him to die surrounded by that which he sacrificed so much to attain while being unable to take advantage of it, but really it was just because I didn't have the achievement for doing it yet. But with that, we escape the Sierra Madre Casino and head back to the Mohave with our pockets full. That's all the DLC's done and dusted, and Dead Money done with only the holo rifle. Now there's nothing stopping us from finally taking on what's sure to be the hardest challenge of them all, the Battle of Hoover Dam. So you know how in some RPGs when you do all the side content first, the final battle basically becomes a total joke? Well, maybe joke is the wrong word to describe it, but it's by no means a challenge. Not only am I kitted out with so many weapons that I switch between them for the sake of sheer variety at this point, but I also have so many supplies that even if I do start to take some damage, it's rarely going to be a concern for long. Besides, as long as there's some sandbags and some distance between me and my enemies, their weapons and armor can be as good as they want. I've still got enough bullets for all of them. Even indoors, my SMGs do a just fine job at cutting up everyone in sight, so no worries there. In fact, I'm glad they packed all these enemies in here. It makes me feel like I didn't craft all these bullets for nothing, so thanks for that, guys. I even take the time to hack up a few legionnaires with my machete so that it doesn't feel lonely. Overall, the dam is incredibly smooth sailing, but maybe Lanius will actually put up a fight? Oh, wait, I forgot, he's made of material. Running away after being driven to nearly nothing in 2 shots before dying pathetically really makes me think that there are people who played this game exactly like this their first time through, and this is their only impression of Lanius. It's just funny to me. Because I'm feeling saucy and I haven't done it in this series yet, I have Yes Man throw General Oliver off the dam and finish the game, hopefully proving that I can beat Fallout New Vegas as the sniper and keep it interesting. If you're at this point of the video, I can only assume that you found it interesting, and if so, I hope you enjoyed it. This run definitely had more ups and downs than I was expecting. There were plenty of times where I actually felt challenged, which was a hell of a lot more than I expected going into this. Honestly, hardcore mode barely made that much of a difference for me in terms of food, water, and sleep deprivation. Even stim packs healing over time only mattered in niche situations, though healing crippled limbs using only doctor's bags wasn't the best. Really, the main thing that kept coming up was honestly ammo weight, though that's probably on me for having so many guns with so many different ammo types. I can't help it, a lot of them look cool. And that's the most important thing of all, isn't it? I'll be back soon for the final episode of this series. It's gonna be weird. Until then.